Hello friends, welcome back to That Drawing Show. Today we have a very special edition of That Drawing Show because I'm going to be breaking out the iPad for the first time, and you're going to see me struggle digitally instead of on paper. We have an assignment where I need to get good at drawing dogs quickly. So I need to practice some dogs and eventually put them into a composition, and the best way of doing it, even before you do the final drawing, is to work digitally. And for many years I have, but never really worked on the iPad until this year. So at least with the caricatures, I'm going to start today's show with that. So anyway, you're going to see a little bit of that, and then we could maybe talk layout and other ideas when I switch back into Photoshop and use my my Wacom tablet. For many years I used the Cintiq, and what I discovered was that as the Cintiqs evolved generation after generation, they got wider and wider and wider, and narrower and narrower and narrower, more and more letterboxed. Although that is, perhaps appropriate for HD work, or movie work, or timeline-based animation work. It's not at all good in a world where we're all operating out of long rectangles like this. And although many monitors allow you to, turn the monitor like this, turning the tablet proves to be more challenging for a variety of reasons. So although I did have a tablet that I could work letterboxed, it had such a big bezel on it, the portion on the outsides that is not screen, that it was a big pain in the behind. And it wasn't as stable in the the vertical position. And beyond that, what is appropriate for drawing an 11 by 17 caricature isn't the best format for navigating your desktop. In that case, you want a 4 by 3 aspect ratio. And I guess the point of this conversation is the 4 by 3 aspect ratio is a thing of the past on the Cintiqs, although this iPad 12.9 inch that I'm staring at here does have that going for it. So anyway, we're going to switch to that here in a minute, and I'm going to show you what I have been doing, and it'll work for dogs, and hopefully we'll do a few human caricatures towards the end of the hour. And in the meantime, I need the practice big time, so I'm going to run the show intro, and we'll get to it. See you in a minute.
There's some things I have to say.
Good.
Scott Gross.
Scott Gross, is that his name?
Scott is out in L.A.
I work fast and I'm a deal. I write and direct and I do it.
Yeah, that guy's great.
But none of them understand that, like, Cleveland is a bombed out third world hellhole.
I go on and on.
Well, that was tremendous fun.
The cat hair apocalypse. Baby, it's like Mad Max, but with cats. Like
Cat
Apocalypse.
for being on some chill shit. Oh Lord, got a whole lot to show for it. I mean, we can really get it, we can go for it. Oh Lord, got a whole lot to show for it. I mean, we can really get it, we can go for it. Oh Lord.
Hypocrisy and nonsense.
It's a combination of stupidity, incompetence, preening, posturing, and fraud.
Hello, we're back again. Let's put that music back on. Right on. And we have here a iPad screen. Let's get back on camera here. We have here an iPad screen, and you can see the Photoshop window that has the reference photo. And the point here I'm trying to make is that this is a common problem in illustration, especially when you're working from photos, but even when you have a live model, which is that in a world of line drawing, especially when you have a presentation tool like a marker that looks really beautiful, it's a heck of a thing to get the three-dimensionality of your object, especially if you don't know the anatomy all that well. And with dogs, you know, you're not used to seeing them to the same degree as you are with humans, and achieving a three-dimensional representation, of course it's possible, but it's hard to do at the same time as making beautiful lines, that's for sure. We can all agree on that. The artists who are really great are the ones who can visualize the three-dimensional model in their heads and just trace the outlines. But the reality is I'm not that good. And one thing that I think most caricature artists struggle with is the ability to, in one fell swoop, in one fell swoop, make a beautiful drawing that has three-dimensionality to it. Sorry, as I struggle here. Like I said, I struggle with the iPad. So yesterday, I started playing around with a brush that is built into Procreate. It's one of the standard brushes, and you find it here under artistic. No, under painting. No. Where was it, friends? What an idiot I am. Oh, here we go. Yes, it's under artistic, and it's called Lara Puna. And it enables you to get a real oil painting kind of effect, and do it in a way that mimics some of the brushes in Photoshop that really have a lot of custom settings to them. I don't have the patience for that kind of thing. People who can spend all day customizing brushes, I admire your free time. So if it isn't like a out-of-the-box solution, I'm probably never going to use it. And that's why I'm so behind, by the way, in Procreate. So this one is an out-of-the-box solution. And what I discovered was that if you just start with a kind of hierarchical approach like we've been talking about under the force drawing, and you say, all right, let's just try to get an outline going that seems to match what I'm seeing. And then, like I said, the brush gives you the ability to kind of define planes a little bit and say, oh, okay, this piece is kind of hanging over here, and this nose kind of goes here, and if I go over it a few times, it gets darker, you know, but you can still kind of see the planes. And then you say, all right, the lip, you see how it goes on top, and it's like, oh, I'm really getting a three-dimensional representation, even though I'm looking at something that is very 2D and staring right at me. And then, you know, if you then want, say, on a separate layer, to go over that, you can try again a more traditional inking type brush and go over it and say, all right, let's follow. Let's follow what we did before. Hold on one second here. Sorry about this. This isn't what I wanted to happen, but it is. Okay, I had everything all planned out. Oh, here we go. Recent. I know that all the Biden voters out there think that Procreate is the single greatest app or computer program ever written by human beings. I'll just leave it there. Anyway, okay, so yeah, now you have a better ability to go over what you did and trace those three-dimensional lines, and then you can bring your knowledge of dog anatomy, whatever it may be, to bear on the equation here. Let me try to show you what I've done in the past, and let me see if that makes any better sense here. So like I said, we had this, and in the realm of, I think that this one that I did last night, not surprisingly, is a lot better than the one I do on camera. That's why I love doing these live streams so much. When When it came to the human faces, it definitely... When it came to the human faces, it definitely made a difference. Here was the underdrawing done in a very crude manner, and then I was able to do something on top. Anyway, that's what we're going to be doing today. Like I said, this is just so easy to use, and I just love it so much. So, bear with me. It's almost like they thought of everything you wanted to do. Right. And then you can't do it. Okay, here we go. Let's get started again. Again, the brush is called Lara Puna. There it is. And I would recommend a color that has a kind of a doggy aspect to it. I think maybe that one was a little bit too saturated. About something like that. And it doesn't have to be too dark because, again, you want to be able to go over and add additional planes moving from back to forward in Z. Let's try another. Okay, here we go. You can find your way here. The first step is the silhouette step. And, you know, you're dealing with a furry object, so the shapes don't immediately present themselves. Even if you're looking to caricature the shapes, they don't immediately present themselves. But if you can get something of an outline going, then you can say, okay, that's going to be on top. His eyebrows aren't really here. They're more down here. You want to bring that nose out, fine, you can bring it out. We're trying to get three-dimensionality here, not just follow shapes. So that's that cheek. This is the forehead. This is underneath right here. Does that make any sense right there? Let's see if we can follow it. I guess the ultimate test is, can you follow it in a way that is credible? Let's see if we can do this. I don't have great iPad technique, especially not yet. But one thing is for sure is that you cannot hold the pen the way you would hold a regular pen, despite their hundreds of millions of dollars. To the contrary, maybe if you're a woman, I don't know. But no man can hold the pen because A, your hand will touch the screen and ruin everything. And B, the sensitivity isn't quite the same. It's better, I think, to hold it, is to hold it a little bit away and give yourself a little bit of leverage and press down. Well, I don't know if that really demonstrated my point here. Let's keep going. I'm going to take a quick break because some idiot is calling me, and we'll come back. And, you know, I had no doubt that the first 150 drawings I was going to do were going to be terrible, but that's the reality, and I didn't want to turn on the camera at midnight. That's usually when the drawings start getting good. Let's take a quick break. right, let's get back into it, people. What else can I tell you? Let's keep going and try to find... All right, here's another great example where the face is... won't let me move it. The fit... Oh, these interfaces are really designed to make you want to kill yourself so that the companies that created them don't have the competition from people working at home. All right, that should work. Wonderful. So we have a face here, again, that is staring right at the camera. You know, it's hard, unless you're a real expert in dog anatomy, to even understand what you're looking at, let alone to model those planes. So let's try again with the Larapuna brush. If I even get 5 good minutes out of this live stream, A, it'll be a miracle, and B, it'll be worthwhile. Okay, this is the way I've been... Ooh. Oh, ho, ho. Yes, Biden voters. Okay, this is how I've been doing it. Getting that silhouette in there first. And being a little bit loose with it, and being unafraid to... be a little bit messy. That's maybe our skull, right? And then, you know, the main question you now want to ask, if you already have the planes, the ability to do the planes, is how high up is the bridge of the nose? And I think for dogs, that's kind of an important thing. Like the dogs, personality a lot of times is defined by how high in its head the nose bridge is. But anyway, maybe I'm not making a good... You see how I'm making these strokes sideways, and that kind of creates the top, and then you can go down on the flanks. You know what I mean? Down on the flanks, and then maybe like there's a little front here. You want to make sure that you get that front. And because this Larapuna gives you a slightly darker stroke, you're able to kind of model those things. And then over here up top, you know that there is something that goes forward, like a little bit of an eyebrow. And that the eyes, unlike a human eye, aren't really set back into the head. They kind of sit on top. So this gives you like kind of the ability to model that and say, all right, I'll put the eyes there. I'm going to put this here on the screen. See how... Oh. No, see how it doesn't work? There's no way to avoid activating the screen with the side of your hand. It's great, guys. Let's try to follow what we did. There is there, and there's that. I may or may not be listening to the Cavs game in the background, so, you know, what can I tell you? If anything, my live stream should make you appreciate the really great artists even more. Because you're like, wow, you really are this bad. Okay. It came out oh, you know what? Hold on. I give myself a little bit more credit. What I'm really trying to do here isn't focus on line quality. It's to try to model these shapes and use this technique to do it. I don't think we're doing that bad a job. You are getting something that more or less looks like the photograph with a little bit of personality to it. Again, my line quality is awful, but that's not really what we're trying to do here. Okay. Here's that same dog. A bit bigger. Looking like a grandmother in a Looney Tunes cartoon, really. Look at that face. That it kind of is a guilty face. That's kind of like a I just shit somewhere in the house face. What can I say? There's no question about it. Okay, here we are getting a little bit more of a head. I'm sorry, a top of the head, crown of the head. And we're going down here. Side of my hand is activating the screen again. It's great. I stretched out the face a little bit, but I think we're getting the idea here. And like I said, with this brush, you can block in those planes and make sure that you get those planes in there. Nope. Okay. I hate erasing, but I am going to use the eraser for a second there. Okay. I'm really just trying to get these planes, not make beautiful lines, but I'd like to try to get the planes in as few lines as possible. And up, especially here, like, let's really try to follow up what we have going on here. There's a line of symmetry. One of the nice things about dogs is that they do have a very clear line of symmetry often, and you may as well take advantage of it and put it in if it's there. You know, humans typically don't have a line running down the center of their body. If you have nice chest definition, maybe, but a line, not so much, especially not on the face. Okay, all right. I feel like there is a plane here that I defined in the color that I'm not quite defining here, but it's more that I don't have any ideas. I've run out of ideas, more so than that I don't have the plane defined, or that I don't have any idea that it's there. It's just I don't have an idea of what to do with it. That's sort of another aspect of drawing, is what to do with what you see. I will say this, for a face like this, I don't particularly like the way that I caricatured it. Let's try it again with some different shapes. It really looks like a cow, and I think the reason for that is because I didn't really think about what I was doing because I'm talking. You see how it does me? It just simply will not. You see? You gotta hit it 15 times. 15 times! 81 million votes. 15 times. Okay. For something like this, you know, especially like a granny dog like this, I didn't really capture that point of view. I'm focusing so much on matching the photograph that I'm not really giving it a point of view. But first, for something like this, I feel like the... You know what I mean? That's sort of more on target. And just in general, I think for a face like this, it's more funny if I stop hitting the screen. Oh, it's more funny if see? It just never stops. It just doesn't stop. Until I throw it out the fucking window. Huh? Better, right? I think we're getting a little bit warmed up here. Let's just keep going. Those are difficult. I'll tell you what, this one is, I think, worth looking at sort of on its own. Yeah. I think this one is worth looking at on its own because, again, it's so incredibly foreshortened that getting the planes right ain't easy. So, and these are always the photos that the client gives you. The client never makes it easy on you. And they always act like they don't understand. You know what I mean? The same people who spend 80% of their day taking photos of themselves and having to get the lighting and the position and the angle and the face just right, When you ask them to send you a photo, they've look at this photo, look at the lighting, look at everything, and it's like, all right. Okay. So yeah, with this one, I mean, we know, because we know dogs, that the nose, the muzzle is coming out a little bit, and we have to emphasize that in some way. We have to emphasize. You see how it just fucking won't do it? What is your fucking problem? Okay. Let's get the back of the head first. I think one thing that the force drawing method shows us is that if you really want to get the head attitude, give it some kind of an anchor, give it some kind of a neck, just so you have something to go on. And then let's build this thing. Let's build it out. A million things went through my mind on that drawing, and most of them were not germane to the drawing. Okay, yeah, I don't even think that I really captured this thing at all. Let's start over again. You see? 100 times I press it. What do you gotta fucking do? I'm starting with the muzzle here and try to like and yeah, we're not doing the tongue, we're just trying to get the head shape, of course, goes without saying. Okay, I think that turned out a little bit better. Okay, I like that. You see, I didn't even follow. You see, I do have a nice little nugget down there, and why not follow it? I think there is a difference here between the jawline and this, you know, the end of the mouth here. You want to make sure that with dogs you do distinguish between that one defines the ultimate outline of the head, and one is sort of, yeah, helps you, you know, you have back here, that's the jawline, and then you want to have some landmark that tells the viewer we're moving forward in Z. That's that. That's that. Okay. The person who gave me these and gave me this assignment is a lovely guy, and I do want to do a good job. And I do have, I think, a cute idea for the final drawing. This face captures my idea for the final drawing more than previous attempts, you know what I mean? There is an old granny aspect to the female dog here, and I do want to capture that. Here we go. Here's another one that I wanted to make sure we practiced. Okay. Yeah, I guess I'm going to select the brush with my finger, because otherwise it just does not want to work. Okay. Here's another one where I don't mind getting a big messy shape in there to start with, and make sure that I have those jawline endpoints defined. And I suppose in many ways the relationship between those points and what you're going to end up doing with the ears is what that pose is at, you know, at this level of Z right here. Let's call it Z1. If the viewer's eyeball is here, and this is the dog, that's Z1 back there, or Z1 is in the back. Z2, oh, Z3 is closest to the viewer. So at the furthest far back level, those are the shapes that matter. And frankly, if we were to really do this, you know, according to this kind of a strategy, you don't really need to model the entire thing. You need to have a few slices, you know what I mean? Z2 really needs to be more or less at the eyebrow line. Let's see if we can, yeah, that's where Z2 needs to be. So let's see if we can, with this brush, you know what I mean? That's the forehead. I'm gonna take it right to there. And then we'll go down. See how we go down? And then Z3 is gonna be the muzzle. And then this piece goes up in front and hangs, you know, it tucks up. And if you want to capture the jaw, you know it's going to be here. You know what I mean? Maybe the secret, again, I'm saying maybe because I don't have it all figured out, is you plot it from the Z4, you know, from the back forward, and then you draw it from the forward back. Let's try that. I think maybe I don't love that. You know, once you get it in there, you say, all right, this should probably be more down like that. You know what I mean? But it does. We're getting there. We're getting there. I don't think that's bad. You know, the line quality is terrible. That is true. But and we're not capturing the white streak fine. But the idea is, I was able to get those, and I was able to get those planes, and I am not an expert in dogs at all. I don't even like dogs. I'm a cat person. Judge that as you will. How can I get that excited and intimate with an animal that eats its own poop? Let's try this bad girl one more time. Amazing how now Photoshop lets me move. Before it wouldn't let me move. Now it lets me move. Okay. Okay. You know, there's a little cranium here. This dog has like a little skull. I mean, you very clearly see the skull. The skull has a side to it, and it slopes in the front there. That's where the eye is. You say, okay, we're going to put a nose there. I'm just tracing contours here. This is really what you do when you paint a lot of the time. Is just tracing contours. It's just very seldom with a digital brush do you have the this color variation built in, and that really helps us kind of define some of these planes. even if the colors are not great, you know, you can see as I'm doing it, I'm hoping this shows up on your end. You can see, like, you're seeing the planes kind of come in. And then, you know, if I need it more clearly, you see how I just did the forehead there? Or just like, yeah, it just needs more definition here around here. It's like, all right. I'm not trying to draw lines. I'm trying to shade these planes in. And in this case is like, you know, with the dog also, just follow the hair a little bit. You know what I mean? Get an idea of what the dog is doing, what the hair is doing with this method. Give you a little tongue there.
Plaintiff's position in the case that whatever problem may have existed at the Civic Center, the means utilized by the city did not justify the end, and that the only testimonies to date has been that there's been some drinking by minors and the use of marijuana.
Okay. I'm just giving you a little bit of an indication over here without giving you too much eye. Give you a little indication. Yeah, again, we're not coloring here, and so there's going to be certain aspects that we're missing, but just from a standpoint of were you able to capture the proportions and the planes, I think it works. Again, this brush is called Lara Puna. And I'm going to be using it the entire rest of the afternoon on these dogs and on some humans. Let's try a couple human faces. Let's see how it works. Okay, here's a good example. Good. You see, now it won't let me move it. You see? You see? Okay, very good. So, with a face like this, you know, we don't have the same problem that we had with the dogs for sure, because we do have some clearly defined planes here, and there's an opportunity for capturing it very accurately. But at the same time, it's like there's some personality here. You want to be able to do some exaggeration. This is caricature after all. So let's see if we can use our method here to do something fun with this face. Beyond just what the photograph is showing us. Clearly there's a big deal with this forehead, so it's like I'm just putting that in there. And then his hair, and again, I'm not trying to capture lines here, we're just trying to get the shapes. This is a sideways thing. I'm sorry, the side of the plane. Let's make this the neck. Already I don't love it. Already you can already tell that it's no good. Start over again. I wish my canvas was a little bit taller. I wish that the... you see, the problem is that this should be done vertically, but the ultimate screen format here of this broadcast is horizontal. So that does cause a lot of problems. If I was doing this just for the phone, it would be different. Okay, yeah. Much better. Much better. I don't want all of that hair. I want the hair to start back there. That's kind of part of the gag. That's a gag. We can go in on the eye wells there. His nose is not very interesting, so let's make it small and not make it very interesting. It doesn't have to be quite that pointy. What I want to do is make sure we get a lot of this cheek area in there. Now here's the muzzle. This is another great way where this method can help us, because it can make sure that we get a nice smile going, if that's what we're going for. Now let's bring that chin around just the way we want. I'm hoping that what I wanted this to look like is coming through here, you know? And again, I'm using this Larapuna brush to block in planes and hopefully make it a little, and you can see I'm doing it in very, I feel like this is superior to a line underdrawing. When you do the line underdrawing, you don't solve as many problems. A lot of times you just delay the problem solving until later when you actually then have to draw the lines. Yeah, the key here is just to relax and follow the planes. You know, it's like you put in the hard work already. Just follow your own work. And think about shapes now. Think about what shape do you want those teeth to be? How exactly do you want to add to what you've done before? Don't go over it again and reinvent it. Add. Those were mistakes. Working this way really emphasizes the idea that every line is a statement. Because in this case, we've already described the figure, so to speak, and we're just putting the final line work down that the audience is going to see. So every move we make is for the purposes of the audience and making a statement. We don't need to figure it out anymore. We've got it figured out. We're really creating now just the performance. If you could get to this point with all of your drawings right off the bat, you know, we would all be brilliant artists. There's only a few who can do it. And I think a lot of them will tell you that even then it's a struggle not to fall back into old habits, to really be fresh and creative on every drawing in their approach. This would be a great place to use like custom brushes. Obviously, that's not the purpose of this exercise here. We're just trying to say, all right, look, I got it out pretty, I mean, it looks cool. I think it looks cool. And I got it out with this planes-based approach. This line here is, this line here is probably not good, right? This line here, the planes-based approach, that's more of like where it's gonna be. Yeah. Okay, we're going to take a quick break here, and then I'm going to come back because I did have some ideas of like composition, what I was actually going to do with the dog drawing, and because this is not just a live stream, this is my actual work. I'd like to switch over to that, so I'm going to bring the other tablet over here. Let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Apocalypse.
I've been in this a long time. You know, I've been hit with everything, the hardest stuff. When this is gonna pay off, and I think it's time. Now it's time.
Apocalypse.
On sight. On sight. Cap.
Apocalypse.
For being on some chill shit. Oh Lord, got a whole lot to show for it. I mean, we can really get it, we can go for it. Oh Lord, got a whole lot to show for it. For being on some chill shit. Oh Lord, got a whole lot to show for it. I mean, we can really get it, we can go for it. Oh Lord, got a whole lot to show for it. I mean, we can really get it, we can go for it. Oh Lord. Cap.
Apocalypse.
On sight. On sight. Cap.
Apocalypse. Apocalypse.
On sight. On sight.
Apocalypse.
I've been in this a long time. You know, I've been hit with everything, the hardest stuff. When this is gonna pay off, and I think it's time. Now it's time.
Hello, friends. Let's get back to it. I'm going to turn the iPad off here, and I'm going to take Photoshop if I can. And I am going to try and make it a little bit bigger. Okay, hopefully that will work. And unlike with the iPad, I'm not going to constantly struggle with doing rudimentary tasks. What I would like to do, though, is take a thought, and also I don't care at all about line quality or any nonsense. All I really want to do for the next few minutes is talk about composition and how to go about coming up with something. We have basically two dogs, right? We have the let's bring these two guys together. We have this guy. We have this guy. And we have the girl. And certainly we kind of had this idea that, oh, wrong. Certainly we had this idea that the female dog certainly has a look to her. And in one of the pics, she was wearing this little purple outfit. That really looked like a grandma, the granny from Looney Tunes. You know what I mean? And it made me think. And you know, there's pearls and everything. So I thought, okay, why don't we present her kind of in a grandmotherly sort of way? And I thought, what about if she was maybe. Ooh. That's what you gotta love Photoshop. What if she was sort of knitting? You know what I mean? Like in a rocking chair. With like a blanket over her lap so that I don't have to draw all the dog anatomy. These should be straight. This is more, yeah. She's sort of here. Silhouette in a narrative illustration is very, very important because you're trying to communicate a gag. So that's why I make such an effort here. These are the knitting needles, you know what I mean? I know nothing about knitting. I know nothing about sewing. This should be like, there should be like a bag here with like some yarn in it. Not because I care, but because it sells the gag. It could also be on the other side. It may end up being on the other side here. Hold on. Let's do that. Put this up here, right? As you start making more decisions, you're making commitments to the drawing. It's like, if that's going to work at all, a lot of the drawing has been decided upon. This is why so much drawing software and just their approaches are completely off, because it's not about creating the world first and then placing the figures in it. It's about starting off with something compelling and a point of a focal point, and then saying, all right, what does the world have to look like in order for this to make sense? This is what creates the world. So, okay, she's here and she's knitting something. And maybe there's like a fire here in the background. A fireplace. That's a strong graphic element. That shouldn't be a tangent there, obviously. Thank you. But there should be maybe something here. I don't want it to be too... You want to create some space in the room. So don't have everything jammed too close to everything else. Because it's A, it's unrealistic. Why is she so close to the fire? And B, create space in the room. Anyway, okay, so how about that? Here. And the knitting bag and other chazarai, as we say where I come from. And then, how about like the male dog is in front, like on the couch, reading the newspaper. You know what I mean? It's a little bit old-timey for like today, nowadays, but it's supposed to be old-timey. Also, I want to use like props to help me so I don't have to draw everything. This can be like the couch over here. That's showing up. Yeah, this could be like the edge of the couch to help sell the idea that it's a couch. And maybe like, you know, the paper can like kind of fold a little bit so that like, you see how much more productive you are in Photoshop? You see how much fucking faster it is? But then you struggle because the tools are terrible. We talked about this before. The Wacom hasn't improved in 20 years. They've just been taking money. Okay. I don't know, frankly, if I'm giving the male dog enough shine here, but certainly you're getting an idea of how to put together a composition. From here on out, we can play with it a little bit. We can say, all right, just from a vertical perspective, I'd like to have the whole thing. I'd like to have the whole thing up a little bit in the frame. And even though I want the figures to be intimate, it is kind of funny if they're not exactly close. Because, you know, it's like husband and wife, they're not, they need their alone time even when they're together. Oh my gosh, I can hear a lawnmower in the background. That might be my cue to wrap this bad boy up. Yeah, probably is. Well, anyway, you can hear the lawnmower in the background. That means it's time to go. It's been That Drawing Show. I'm going to be here all afternoon. Thanks for joining me, and happy drawing.